Crawford, this is Crawford, Seneca, Wyandotte. Are we pulling up the one that's...
So this is for those counties. This is going about northeast, about 40
and
miles
this,
per hour.
Yeah, this is going to be our area of concern right here. This is tracking in a northeasterly motion, if you will. And here we go. If you are located in these areas, this is when we expect the storm to reach to you. Let me get on this side of it so I can see. So 756 Bloomville, 805 Venice, 809. You're looking at Reed if you're in Richmond, 813. But if you are in this area, you want to get to your safe space. If you are located in the red, again, we are seeing a tornado warning for your area. We have rotation indicated via radar right now. And we are cutting into programming because of that. So unfortunately, this system, as it has pushed to the east from the west, we've actually seen a history of this producing a few tornadoes here and there, especially as it moved through Indiana, and we've seen some stronger wind speeds. Now we are seeing a tornado warning issued for the area. We're also seeing quite a bit of lightning, not seeing a hail core in that area. And I know we are having a hard time pulling out any rotation of this because it's so far from the radar, but we can try to take a look at it and see if we can see what they are seeing. It's looking like right in here.
Yes.
Is that?
Yeah, so I'm going to pull up a little bit more information on this for you all.
Okay,
so again, we are looking at that tornado warning that was just issued for that area. Again, this is in a really odd spot, again, where it's far away from Wilmington site, which is further down to the south. And then the other two radar sites are going to be for Fort Wayne and Detroit. And those are still pretty far away. So again, we do have that tornado warning in that area. So I'm going to see where is this storm located? At least we can get like at least a town for you all near Sycamore, and 7 miles north of Upper Sandusky. So let's see here if I can get a little closer. We can find Sycamore. It's going to be, again, it said 7 miles north of Sandusky. So yeah, so again, looking at about right around here for that. So that's the reason why we're breaking in a program is because of that, because that is our viewing area for parts of Wyandotte and for Crawford County. Again, we want to pull out a bigger picture just to show you what the rest of the viewing area is looking like. We do have severe thunderstorm warnings that do stretch from Bucyrus all the way down through Marion into Marysville and starting to work their way into London. Again, the biggest concern we have within this line that Jennifer and I have been watching is going to be for those very strong straight line winds where we're looking at wind gusts up to 60 to even upwards of 70 miles per hour. So if you are in these severe thunderstorm warnings, a lot of these are ranging from 8:15 to around 8:30 p.m. You want to make sure that you're inside because we've had that history of very strong winds. Jennifer, can you tell us some of the reports that we've seen in the area?
That's what I was just going to bring up, that we were looking at some damage reports from this as it's pushed through and into central Ohio. We've seen numerous reports of power outages, down trees that have closed roadways at this point. So very strong wind speeds, damaging wind speeds. That's what most of the reports have been. We haven't really seen much in terms of hail damage or anything like that. Although before this moved into Ohio, we saw a lot more hail associated with it. But you can see this bow shape here. That's what's indicative of that those strong straight line winds that we've got. And then of course, it does look like we're seeing some rotation spin up to the north here. Still seeing that tornado warning for Wyandotte and Crawford counties. Again, radar indicated, so we haven't had a spotter confirm this tornado on the ground just yet. We are seeing some hail in it though, of about 3/4 of an inch. So that's very large hail. And do we know the wind speeds for this?
Yeah, I'm pulling that up right now. So the storm is moving to the northeast at about 40 miles per hour. So I'm going to put another tracker on this for you. So this
moving with some steam here.
Yes, and then I will also help. We'll go through the whole bottom line of this storm because I know these storms are starting to move into parts of into Columbus, and we're starting to see more of those severe thunderstorm warnings stretch further off to the east.
Again, if you are located in this path, you're going to want to make sure you're in a safe space, whether that be in a basement if you have that, or in an interior room in your house or apartment. Get as many walls between you and the windows and doors as possible. A bathroom's usually a good idea.
Yes.
A room without windows is a good idea. Sometimes that most internal room is a closet.
So you want to make sure you put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. So there's the new severe thunderstorm warning that was just issued for now. Let's see, I'm trying to get.
Yeah, we're seeing that continue to expand as
there
these
are
move through.
multiple severe thunderstorm warnings along this line that are capable of producing those, again, very strong winds. So this is the new one that was just issued, that just as Jennifer was talking about, that tornado warning up near Bucyrus. This is for Crawford, Knox, Morrow, Richland County until 9 p.m. tonight. One thing we want to note about that severe thunderstorm warning is they've labeled this threat as considerable. That means wind gusts could reach up to 70 miles per hour. So one thing we're going to have to watch out for, we've had gotten reports in West Ohio, especially like in like Springfield area, of power outages. So with those strong winds, don't be surprised that you may see the lights flicker. You may lose power because of these strong winds. So even with areas that are just only under a severe thunderstorm warning, so let's say for Delaware, parts of West Franklin. So if you live in Dublin, if you live in Hilliard, if you live in Grove City, you're under that severe thunderstorm warning. You still don't want to be near the windows.
We've seen a roof come off of a building from the storm. We've seen it knock down power lines.
Yes.
Altogether, and it won't be until these storms pass that they'll be able to get out and start making repairs. So yeah, as we mentioned earlier, we did expect some power outages from this storm, and we are definitely seeing reports of that.
So I'm going to put a tracker for our Columbus viewers who are watching and maybe wondering why we're breaking into programming when there's no tornado warning in our area. And that's because we do have that tornado warning up just to the near the Bucyrus area in Crawford County. So I do want to track out these storms as they're getting closer into Hilliard, Dublin, and into Columbus. Right now, they are impacting places like North Lewisburg, up in Marysville, and just outside of London. So if you live in these communities, you're dealing with that very heavy rain. You probably noticed before those storms arrived, the wind gusts with that storm. So we're going to be expecting that to move into Columbus. If you probably are looking out to the west, you're probably seeing those dark clouds in the distance. And remember, if you're going to be outside before these storms move in, if you hear thunder roar, you need to make sure you're inside, because lightning can strike from the storm up to 10 to even 12 miles away. So
we've seen some flooded roadways as these heavier downpours move through as well. Do not drive through a flooded roadway. We saw a story earlier in the evening of all the rescues they had to do out in West Virginia from people driving through flooded roadways. You want to stay away from those.
Let me redo that. That was not a bad drawing. So these storms that are mainly in parts of Union County, Madison County, and that's going to be heading into Franklin County. These are moving just a tad slower. They're moving at about 35 miles per hour to the east. So here's
you can definitely see the northern portion of the storm ahead of the rest of it. So yeah, that's going to be moving a little faster. But yeah, you can see this Dublin, 8-10 p.m. That's when you're going to start seeing those heavier winds move past you. It does look like we could see some larger hail with some of this as well. Columbus, 8:25 p.m. This thing is moving it's right on track with what we were thinking earlier. Newark, 9:15 p.m. Coshocton, 9:55 p.m. Not going to get to Zanesville until about 10 p.m. So once we get past that, 10:30, the severe threat should be past the area, but we're just kind of getting started here this evening.
That's right. So again, we're just going to go back up to the tornado warning that we were at earlier ago. That's why we're breaking in a program. Once that tornado warning is allowed to expire, again, that's going to be at 8:15. we will get back to normal programming and we'll continue to stay on web. I do have a Facebook Live still going on my personal page, tracking these thunderstorms out for you. But the reason why we're breaking into programming is due to this tornado warning that is still impacting parts of Crawford, Seneca, so near Upper Sandusky is still in that warning. So Crawford, Seneca, and Wyandotte County, that does include Chatfield, that just to the north of Bucyrus under that tornado warning until
Bucyrus,
8:15.
you were not included in this. Just keep that in mind.
Yeah, Bucyrus not under that warning, but you may start to hear you might even hear those rumbles of thunder. You're going to see that rain pick up here very soon. So again, when a tornado warning is issued, that means storms are imminent. They're happening right now. You want to take action. So we've talked about making sure you're going into your basement. If you don't have a basement, you want to go to the most interior portion of your home, whether that's a closet. You want to make sure you're putting as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Now, for the rest of the area, the biggest concern that we have is not only the fact that we could see some rotation along that line, but the main concern going forward for the rest of the viewing area, especially in the metro area, is going to be for those wind speeds that are going to range from 60 to even upwards of 70 miles per hour.
So you can I'm just going to go see if we have any updates.
Okay, sounds good. So again, we do have this line of thunderstorms again stretching from Upper Sandusky through Marion, and then just starting to move into parts of Dublin, or no, that's over in Delaware. So Delaware, Marysville, there's Plain City down here. So that's going to be moving into Plain City, Dublin, and then again Hilliard. You got a little bit of time before these storms roll into your neck of the woods. Also for some of our southern counties, again, if you live in, let's say, Pickaway, Fayette, and Pike and Ross County, you still got a little bit of time before they reach you, but we do have some warnings that do include Washington Courthouse. So if you live in Washington Courthouse, you are going to be dealing with this line of thunderstorms. Right now, these thunderstorms are over near Cedarville and Caesar Creek. These will be tracking into your area here very soon. Again, lots of lightning within this cell right here near Caesars Creek and just to the west of Washington Courthouse. So you want to make sure that you're going to be inside. You want to be away from those windows, just because we have had the history within this line of those winds up to 60 to upwards of 70 miles per hour. Jennifer, any reports yet? No updates. Okay. So yeah, we're going to stay on air until that 8:15 warning expires. Again, this is for Crawford, Seneca, and Wyandotte County. So this just is to the north of Bucyrus. Again, this is a really tricky area to spot where that rotation is because it is pretty far away.
Just
but
so far from the radar.
It's barely what we see right in here, just to the north of Texas. Again, apologizing if these are any townships. Unfortunately, radar, our weather graphics do pull up some townships that may or may not still exist to this day. So right around in here, just to the south of Tiffin. So we do have some very weak rotation. Unfortunately, this part of northwest Ohio tends to be in sort of what we call a radar gap, where some of the radar sites are just too far away to get really good data from. But again, this is radar indicated from this cell here that is going to be impacting parts of Crawford, Wyandotte, and Seneca County because of that. So again, those are all moving off to the northeast at about 40 miles per hour. So these are going to be moving away from our technical viewing area, so away from Wyandotte and into Crawford County. So yeah, we're just going to keep a close eye on that storm there. Again, moving to the northeast at about 40 miles per hour. But we do have that severe thunderstorm watch. Let me pull up that severe thunderstorm watch.
That's really covering the complete viewing area. So the watch is in pink, the warning is in orange, and you can see that this is just moving along the path of that storm, and we are seeing just these wind gusts knock power out throughout the area. We are seeing a few reports of hail. I haven't seen any reports of hail damage, though. That's not to say it's not happening. We just don't have reports of it yet.
I would say it's probably not big enough to cause any kind of significant damage, since a lot of the hail that we're getting, a lot of these reports are like under
less than an inch. Right.
So usually when you get to that quarter inch is where we see that severe weather limit. So those quarter-inch hailstones, which would be an inch in diameter, that's where you're looking at that potential that could cause some damage to your car, to your roof, so to your home.
Absolutely. And then as far as those heavier downpours, flooding was a low concern, but localized flooding was a concern, and we are seeing that happen in areas as well. So not a great time to be on the roadways as this line is moving through the area there.
So I just wanted to go through, if we want to go through this line here. So again, we do have this severe thunderstorm warning. That is for Clark, Fayette, Franklin, Madison. Again, severe thunderstorm warning for wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour. So these storms are now moving into London. These will eventually track into Mount Sterling and into the Dublin Hilliard area.
You can really see in the red here, those are where we're getting the heaviest of downpours. That is a lot of rain coming down as the system pushes through the area.
So just really quickly, and then we'll go back to check out that tornado warning up near Seneca. Here's kind of a tracking for you all for that part of the line there. So we got West Jeff just before 8 p.m. We have Columbus about 8:22, and you'll start to notice those thunderstorms rolling into your area. Circleville around 8:56, and then Lancaster around 9:19. Again, the good news, the one thing we'll have to watch out for as these storms move off to the east, they are anticipated to weaken some. Now, some will mean that the winds may drop below severe weather limits, but even then 50-mile-per-hour wind gusts can still cause for some flying debris in your yard.
Yeah, absolutely. There's that tornado warning still in effect.
Again, that's until 8:15.
Seeing quite a bit of lightning right in that area as well. Here's another thing we've noticed about this. Yes, this thing is putting out quite a few lightning strikes, but it does look like we're seeing less of them the further east it gets. Still though, we're under, this storm's still packing a punch strong enough to be considered severe, even where we're not getting the tornado warnings here.
So we got a little bit of time till technically the storm itself is out of
if you're
Crawford
in
County.
Venice, and as well as Chatfield, make sure you're getting to your safe space. That storm's starting to work its way over the Chatfield area right now. And Venice, you've got some time, so make sure that you're taking these warnings seriously. We want you in a safe spot, in an interior room in your house if you don't have a basement, again, a closet or a bathroom. Always good places, particularly if your bathroom does not have windows. If your bathroom has windows, maybe pick a closet that doesn't have those.
Another thing you can bring with you, most people bring in your bathroom blankets, pillows. You can do
helmets.
that. Helmets are a good thing. This is actually a good reminder. We've had a very slow severe weather season, but it's a good reminder to have that. I did like a Hilliard Safety Town event that I did.
We just saw that. Yeah.
And we talked about having a severe weather safety kit.
Yeah.
And you can keep that in your basement, near your safe
Absolutely.
spot for all year round. Now you do have to check it every so often and make
sure the batteries are good. For your flashlight. Weather radio is always good to have, or a battery operated radio where you can get updates.
Looks like we got the severe thunderstorm warning that was now starting to move into, I'm trying to get this so you can see the line as well. So you can see, we got those dark clouds there. We got the dark clouds on tower camera. Thank you for that. So you can see those dark clouds out to the west. Those are going to be moving into Columbus. Again, do want to stress, we do not have any tornado warnings here in Columbus. Right now, the tornado warning's up near Seneca, just to the near the Tiffin area. If I'm saying that correctly, but normally those northern counties are a bit rusty on. But that's up in Tiffin. We're going to continue to stay on air until 8:15 until that warning expires. But for the rest of the viewing area, if you're wondering why are we breaking into coverage, well, we do have severe thunderstorm warnings ahead of this line where we're looking at wind gusts up to 60 to 70 miles per hour. These storms have been ranging about 35 to 40 mile per hour speeds as they were tracking off to the east. So we did have that extension of the severe thunderstorm warning. This is for parts of eastern Delaware, for Fairfield now. So if you live in northwestern, I should say, Fairfield County, and then parts of Licking County, just to the west of Newark, you're right now under that severe thunderstorm warning. Let me get a little bit closer so I can see that time. 9:15 p.m. for wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour. Again, these storms have had a history, or what we say, they've had a record of producing very strong winds, also some heavy rainfall, lightning within this line. But again, we're just going to keep a close eye on this tornado warning that does include our northern county, just north of Bucyrus. Bucyrus is not in that warning, but we do have parts of Crawford County that is included in that warning. But of course, we have all these severe thunderstorm warnings stretching from Bucyrus through now Mount Gilead, Delaware, Mount Vernon, Newark, and parts of Fairfield County, Washington Courthouse under that severe thunderstorm warning because of these very strong winds. So you want to make sure, even if you're under the severe thunderstorm warning, that you're going to be away from the windows. You don't want to be outside. If you hear thunder roar, head indoors. Because with those strong winds, you are going to be dealing with some flying debris. If you have dead tree limbs or your tree is dead in your yard, that could cause for limbs to fly around. So you don't want to be near windows with a severe thunderstorm warning that's capable of producing those very strong winds. If you live east of these severe thunderstorm warnings, you still have some time to maybe pack those loose objects in your yard. If you have anything loose around, you want to make sure you put those away in a secure spot so they don't fly away. Though as these storms start to move further east, they are anticipated to weaken some. Now they're still capable of producing maybe some non-severe wind gusts, but the strength of these storms should weaken as they move
and
further
we're not
east.
there yet.
We're not
by
there
any
yet.
means. We're still seeing wind speeds of 60 miles per hour in areas. If not, seeing some wind gusts even stronger than that at times.
Has the National Weather Service said anything about this tornado warning?
I cannot find anything about this
Okay.
tornado warning. It's not, what office is
So
it
this would
coming
be in
from?
Cleveland. So
Okay,
check.
Cleveland has not mentioned this
Okay.
one, but they have mentioned this one.
Okay, so they have mentioned.
They have a couple of other ones I have not seen. Let me go double check, but I have not found anything.
Parts of it's
on
still
this.
Wilmington, starting to move into the Cleveland area. Yeah, so check Cleveland and see if they've said anything from Cleveland. Because unfortunately, this tornado warning is in a very tricky spot in terms of how we look for it on velocity. Last I saw, they were saying it was near Tiffin, so more in the Seneca County for that one. So hopefully we can be able to get off of programming here very soon and get back to normal programming with this coverage. So somewhere near in here is where we're seeing some of that rotation. But again, it's very hard to see since it is in part of a radar gap in Northwest Ohio, unfortunately, is the condition that these folks are dealing with when it comes to tornado tracking when we have these kind of strong thunderstorms in the area. But again, we're just going to keep a close eye on this. It is radar indicated, so we don't have any storm spotter on the ground. That's when when it becomes observed, is usually because we have a physical person, or let's say a police officer, a firefighter, spotted that on the ground, and they're sending that reports into the National Weather Service, or sometimes on radar we have this product that can tell us if there is debris, if there's debris flying around. What we call the correlation coefficient. And that can let us know if there's debris flying around in this storm. That could tell us also if they need to, the National Weather Service.
See that coming in now.
Yeah,
Wow.
those storms are really starting to get those dark, ominous clouds moving into our tower camera. Again, that's on that top corner there.
All right, and also
On
just
the left-hand side of your
confirming,
screen.
No updates.
No
on
updates?
that
Okay.
warning.
Because I'm curious to see if they're going to keep this until 8:15.
That's
Especially for me.
the areas behind it, because
And especially for, we just got a little power
surge here.
But I don't think that's even related to weather.
No.
We've had a couple of those here at the station. Because in Crawford County, really what they were saying, it was more in Seneca where they were spotting that rotation. So I'm curious if they're going to take out parts of Wyandotte and Crawford here very soon. If not, at least keep it until 8:15. Again, that's until when the warning will expire, is 8:15. Well, you can see, look at the tower camera. You can see it shaking as these storms move in.
The wind.
The wind has definitely picked up ahead of these storms. So let's push it down a little bit to Columbus. Right now, Dublin, you're right, dealing with some of these thunderstorms and rain showers. Again, severe thunderstorm for you. So if you're ahead of this line, you're going to notice just like that, those strong winds. I'm not sure if that's actually the wind blowing, or if they're moving the camera right now. I don't have my IFB for the producers to talk to me, but if that is the winds blowing that, yeah, you can see the tower camera shaking up there on our up on the top of the cam, with the poor Osprey dealing with the winds too. So again, this is what we're going to be dealing with these storms coming through.
You can hear the wind howling across the building right now.
So 60 to 70 mile per hour wind gusts possible. It looks like most of them have dropped. Let's see, I'm trying to see if there's any along this line of 60 to 70. Most of it's 60. Yeah, that's winds coming off the roof of the building.
Yeah.
Okay, let me put some more trackers on this, especially as these storms move in. And then I think, let's see. They're still keeping Crawford in. They
It's
took
also
they took
interesting
Wyandotte
that
out.
they're not expanding this further east.
Can you pull up the, where are they talking? Get the information of what they've had. 7 miles north of Upper Sandusky, moving northeast. So they haven't
It's
really
well,
updated.
yeah, they haven't updated.
Yeah, so we'll do this so we can get back to normal programming. I'm gonna do a couple tracks on this for you all as these storms move in. So Bucyrus right now is under severe thunderstorm warning. Let's go to the northern portion of the state. I do apologize trying to get through this. So Crawford, Marion, Seneca, Wyandotte, 815. So this area up here to the north, and this is right now dealing with wind speeds up to 60 to 70 miles per hour. Let me get a look at the track of this for you. And this is for parts of Mansfield, Mount Gilead, and Mount Vernon, so Knox County. So Ashland, Morrow, Crawford, and Knox County. That's until 9 p.m. So 55. So let me put a tracker on this, and then we'll go back to normal programming.
Yeah, I
Since
think,
this is starting to move out of the area.
yeah, absolutely.
And even then, it's such a very sliver of northern Crawford County. So let's get this northern line and we'll work our way to the south. So Columbus viewers, I will get through you to here very soon. So let's see, Mansfield, 835, Ashland, 850. Again, we're starting to move out of the viewing area for some of these counties. Again, Mount Gilead, you should be expecting this here in the next few minutes. You're probably already starting to see those dark clouds, winds, also an issue for you as this storm, a line of storms move in. Again, for Mount Gilead, Knox County, you're going to be in that warning until around 9:15. Delaware, Fairfield, and then Franklin, parts of Franklin and Licking County, 9:15 for use for that eastern area. So Utica, Etna in that warning box. Let me get another reading of what the track of this is.
and I'll just do one more check.
And then we'll go back to normal programming. I don't want that.
It looks like they're canceling the tornado warning for Wyandotte.
Okay, perfect.
Or that's the latest.
That's the
update
latest.
on
Okay,
it.
so this is all 30. Let me get Columbus, and then there's a new warning, severe thunderstorm warning for the area. So let me put a tracker on this for some of our other count or viewing area here, and then do one last check of that new warning, and then we'll wrap things up. So 8:15 for Westerville, Columbus 8:23. So you're already starting to see those winds really start to pick up for you. And then for Reynoldsburg, 8:45 p.m., Pickerington 8:57, Newark at around 9:23, and then Thornville at around 9:33. Again, right now the biggest concern for you all is going to be those gusty winds, where we're looking at wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour, in some cases to the northern portion of the state, where parts of Mount Gilead and Knox County are right now dealing with the potential for wind gusts up to 60 to even 70 miles per hour. Real quick, before we go back to normal programming, Fairfield, Fayette, Pickaway, and Ross County under severe thunderstorm warning until 9 p.m. tonight. This is going to be for wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour. So there's this line here right now moving through parts of London and Washington Courthouse. That's going to be tracking into your neck of the woods.
They also confirmed that they are going to let this expire at 8:15.
Okay, perfect.
What is left? Yeah.
So let me put another tracker on the southern portion, the downwind of this line, and then we'll go back to normal programming, 45 miles per hour. So there's that. So again, Washington Courthouse 8:15, Groveport 8:34, Circleville 8:44, and then for Lancaster around 9:01, and then Logan around 9:35, Nelsonville will be 9:54, and then Athens looking around 10 p.m. for you. So again, we're going to be keeping a close eye on this line of thunderstorms for you as the evening goes on. Again, the biggest concern for the rest of the viewing area, with the exception of that tornado warning that still is going to last until another 7 more minutes, is going to be for gusty winds up to 60 to 70 miles per hour. So you want to make sure that you are away from those windows. If you hear thunder roar, you need to make sure to head indoors. So again, let's see. Yep, so still for Crawford, Seneca County, again, 8:15 for you. Again, this is for that tornado warning there, so you should still be already in your safe spot at the moment, but they're going to allow this to expire at 8:15, which is great news. So then really the only threat going forward for the rest of the night, for the rest of the viewing area, will be for those gusty winds. Again, just be mindful, tree limbs can be flying around, and tree limbs, you might get some tree damage in your yard. Also, possibly some power outages unless you get some flickering of lights. Don't be surprised to see some flickerings of lights because of the strong winds. I already saw our tower camera. You can saw it really shaking as those storms start to inch closer into the metro area. So again, Crawford, Seneca continues to remain under that tornado warning, but they're going to allow that to expire. And really the rotation that, at least somewhat of the rotation that we were seeing with that was mainly near in Seneca County. But again, heavy rainfall, quite a bit of lightning, and that will be the case for along this line is going to be that lightning, also some heavy rainfall along that line too. So gusty winds, heavy rainfall, frequent lightning. But again, Jennifer and I will be keeping a close eye on these storms for you. If we need to cut back into normal programming, we will. Also, I do have a Facebook Live going on my page as well. I'll keep it going for a little while longer as we continue to track out these storms for you. But I think for now, I really think we're okay to, I think they actually, still is up there. I think for now, these storms are starting to move out of the area.
Yeah, and I think the threat is out of
Crawford.
County, yeah.
It's really just heavy rainfall for you in Crawford County. So for now, we're going to be sending it back to normal programming, but of course, we'll be keeping you updated online and on air with more information as we continue to track out these storms for you. Stay weather aware, and we will talk to you very soon.